A distressed individual is urged by a motherly figure to accept help, but refuses, insisting on carrying their burden alone to reach Akarat's tomb. The motherly figure expresses pride and love, but warns of consequences for the individual's choices. A struggle ensues as the individual claims control over a stone, while the other entity argues against this notion. The scene shifts to a gathering where Reverend Mother Prava and Burn Knight Urar, survivors of a battle at Hell's Gate, address an audience. They claim to bring a message from their father Inarius, speaking of a new age born from courage and sacrifice. Urar describes his experience in Hell, emphasizing how he was cleansed through battle and flame, preserving his devotion. A man, identified as a mercenary associated with Lorath, repents and swears allegiance to the light. However, despite his repentance, he is executed, with Urar justifying the act as necessary justice. The execution is portrayed as a demonstration that evil will no longer be tolerated in Sanctuary, aiming to prove their worthiness to the heavens. A confrontation occurs between the faithful of Inarius and those questioning their methods. The Horadrim are criticized for their lack of faith, with threats of judgment looming. Information about Nell, a girl carrying a fragment of evil, is revealed. The scene portrays a tense atmosphere of religious fervor and potential conflict. A conversation unfolds, revealing that knights have been killed. Prava denies responsibility, blaming Urar instead. The speaker expresses disappointment in Prava's inaction, viewing it as a betrayal of their shared past. Prava defends her choices as necessary for the greater good, urging unity among those who serve the light. The narrative moves to a workshop where information about Nell is shared. Nell had passed through town weeks ago, heading towards Nahantu. The workshop owner, a carpenter with an adopted daughter, explains his decision not to intervene in Nell's journey, citing his responsibilities to his family and town. He offers assistance within the confines of Gul. News arrives of an infection spreading from Nahantu, complicating the search for Nell. The carpenter promises to help find Nell once Gul is secure. Meanwhile, a confrontation occurs with someone wielding the soulstone stolen from fallen brethren in Hell. The scene emphasizes the tension between upholding religious convictions and showing mercy. A new character, Arro, is introduced, having saved the protagonist's life. The protagonist is searching for Nell, who is carrying a dangerous prisoner. Arro offers to help, adhering to the principle that in Nahantu, help is offered where needed. The scene highlights the mysterious healing abilities of Arro and the challenging terrain they must navigate. The narrative shifts to an old imperial ruin, which serves as a base for planning. The former mercenary leader of the Pale Hand offers his services and connections to aid in the search for Nell. He emphasizes the need for allies in the coming fight and suggests recruiting old comrades scattered across Sanctuary. The search for Nell continues, with clues pointing to Travincal, described as the site of a bloody tragedy. The protagonists decide to seek divine assistance through a ritual, calling upon Akarat for protection against the dangers they face. The narrative builds tension as they prepare to enter a perilous situation in their quest to save Nell. The speaker warns of the dangers in a place that suppresses holy influences. They emphasize the need to spread light across the city, using ancient metal objects that still carry traces of holy energy. These objects serve as anchors for spirits, providing a place for their energy to rest. The speaker suggests using these to strengthen the presence of a benevolent spirit and offer respite for the souls of those who have perished. A conversation reveals that a companion is heading into a dangerous area, specifically an old prison associated with the Lord of Hatred. The identity of the prisoner is questioned, and it's revealed to be Mephisto. Despite the gravity of the situation, there's still hope to save their companion. The speakers decide to venture into the dark, treacherous area to attempt a rescue. An antagonist, likely Mephisto, addresses the group, pointing out their role in the current predicament. He criticizes their decision to trust a child who has been influenced by a powerful artifact. The antagonist warns that opposing him will only cause more suffering for their companion. He questions how long she can survive and suggests that only she has the power to free herself from her current situation. The group is advised to seek help from Akarat, who is believed to have the strength to aid their companion. They are directed to travel southeast to meet in a specific location. The scene shifts to a conversation about finding Abelon, who is reportedly difficult to locate. A mural in the Old Tun may provide clues, but an interpreter is needed. Despite potential challenges, the group decides to proceed with the search, believing it crucial to their mission. A character reveals a dark secret about being fed demon blood, creating a bond with a powerful entity named Lilith. Despite killing Lilith, the character still feels connected to her. This revelation leads to a poignant story about a spirit-born child who sacrificed his normal life to save his town from a death-bringing spirit. The storyteller uses this allegory to comfort the character, emphasizing the importance of remembering the home and people they saved, rather than dwelling on the burden they now carry. The group continues their quest to find Abelon, heading to a location called the Field of Giants. They receive ancient relics for protection against evil forces. A character reflects on their first experience with the spirit realm, describing it as both frightening and beautiful. The group prepares to open a gateway to the spirit realm to call out to Abelon, but they discover that hostile entities called Hollows have breached this sacred space. A malevolent entity, possibly Mephisto, speaks through or about Nell, a key character who seems to be in grave danger. The entity claims to be one with Nell's mind and offers a bargain for her survival. It warns of impending threats and suggests an alliance. The conversation reveals the complex relationship between Nell and the entity, hinting at a prophecy and the potential arrival of other powerful beings. The group discusses recent interactions with the antagonist, who appears to be growing stronger. They agree to have a more in-depth conversation about these encounters later. The scene shifts to the group exploring ritual sites connected to Abelon, with a warning about potential dangers from local inhabitants. They prepare to perform a ritual, acknowledging the physical and mental toll it may take on them. The group enters the spirit realm, experiencing its alien and primordial nature. They encounter Abelon, who appears to be in distress. Despite their efforts, Abelon seems to be dying, but there's hope that his remaining power can still help Nell. The group faces a difficult decision about how to proceed, knowing that the corruption is spreading rapidly. After a challenging encounter in the spirit realm, the group reflects on their actions and the loss of Abelon. They discuss the potential to save Nell and the broader implications for their world. The conversation touches on themes of hope, despair, and the need to consider all possibilities. They prepare to face Nell, acknowledging the difficulty of the task ahead, but remaining committed to helping her. The narrative focuses on Nell's situation and the group's efforts to free her from the influence of a powerful artifact. They believe that consuming the heart of a guardian might be the key to her liberation. The scene emphasizes the importance of companionship and support in facing overwhelming challenges. The group reunites with Nell, expressing relief and happiness at her apparent recovery. They discuss the risks taken to save her and the potential consequences of their actions. Nell reveals her intention to research the artifact further, leading to a conversation about trust, responsibility, and the burden of difficult decisions. The group agrees to face future challenges together, acknowledging the complexities of their situation and the need for unity. The next scene involves a discussion about strengthening the soulstone to permanently trap Mephisto. Nell proposes using energy from Akarat's lost tomb to empower the stone and sever its bond to her. This plan is met with resistance due to concerns about defiling Akarat's resting place. However, it's revealed that Akarat himself has given his blessing for this course of action, setting the stage for the next phase of their quest. The council refuses to stand against Akarat's wishes, as no other plan has been proposed to prevent doom. Tablets related to Akarat scattered around Tan may point the way to the tomb buried in the desert. The speaker decides to stay behind to honor Alban's death, urging the others to let go of their guilt, as the blame lies with Mephisto. New words have appeared, directing them southwest to the Cass. Aru has been taken alive by armored fools northeast of their location. The soulstone is described as volatile, capable of causing visions and emotional outbursts. The speaker advises not to deny pain, but to guide it through oneself. They emphasize that refusing help is not courage, but fear. The stone threatens the world, but the burden of saving it is too heavy for one person to bear alone. The group resolves to carry this burden together. A character experiences hallucinations, believing they see their dead mother. They are guided to focus on real, tangible things to ground themselves. The character's mother had chosen Lilith over them, but they are reminded that this mistake doesn't define their worth. The group chooses to support the character, encouraging them to hold on to reality when feeling overwhelmed. A confrontation occurs with a leader who poses a threat. Despite the option to take him back for a fair trial, the decision is made to eliminate him due to the danger he represents. A battle ensues, revealing deep-seated conflicts and accusations of madness. The leader claims to have offered order, salvation, and light against darkness, questioning what the others offer in return. A character expresses their inability to continue supporting Akarat, feeling the price of friendship has become too high. They urge others to leave with the child. Another character, struggling with the influence of the soulstone, considers ending their life to free Mephisto, but is convinced to see the mission through together. The group resolves to reach the tomb and finish their task. The journey continues southwest towards Kurast. One character experiences disturbing visions or memories, causing tension within the group. They struggle with the lingering influence of Lilith's blood and fear permanent changes to their personality. Despite these challenges, they apologize for their outbursts and recommit to reaching the tomb together. The group encounters locals who are wary of their weapons, but provide guidance after learning of their mission sanctioned by the council. They are given cryptic clues related to finding Akarat's tomb, involving themes of water, darkness, and a veil or curtain. The group deciphers these clues, believing they point to a waterfall near their entry point. A mysterious tablet appears, containing text in an old language. The group partially translates it, identifying a direction to the south. They resolve to investigate this lead, determined to make their sacrifices meaningful. A character named Aru returns, and a poignant story about sacrifice and companionship is shared, highlighting the group's commitment to their mission. The group discovers an ancient path created by Akarat's followers, described as a window into the spirit realm. They prepare for a ritual, acknowledging the difficulty without a missing companion. As they complete the ritual, one character experiences a profound moment of mental clarity, grateful for the support of their companions. A betrayal occurs as Aru takes the stone, claiming to act for Nahantu. This leads to a confrontation with Mephisto, who revels in the hatred and violence unleashed. The group struggles against Mephisto's power, realizing their attacks are ineffective. They search for a way to vulnerability, drawing upon themes of sacrifice and the nature of death. The battle against Mephisto intensifies, with the group frantically trying different strategies. Mephisto taunts them about their mortality and his eternal nature. The fight reaches a climax as they prepare for a final, decisive strike against Mephisto, acknowledging the potential cost to themselves. As the conflict resolves, characters bid emotional farewells. Akarat expresses fear of death, a poignant moment given their long existence. The group faces the aftermath of their battle, grappling with the implications of Mephisto's defeat and the power contained in the ancient corpse they've encountered. They resolve to stop Mephisto's plans, whatever they may be. The group confronts Aru about his betrayal. Aru reveals he made a deal with Mephisto to spare those he loves, acknowledging the weight of his choices. Despite pleas to make things right, Aru accepts the consequences of his actions, preparing for a final confrontation with the group. It's acknowledged that Aru made a choice out of desperation, which has caused significant pain and frustration. However, it's suggested that killing him would deny him the opportunity for redemption. The focus shifts to returning to the Harad Vault in search of information or tools to use against an enemy called Misto. There's a reflection on past memories, emphasizing the importance of remembered love in the face of uncertain recollections. A new character enters the scene, revealing they've been following the group on behalf of someone named Prava. Despite initial skepticism due to past conflicts, it's suggested that Prava has changed and wants to meet. The group decides to hear what Prava has to say, acknowledging they can't keep running. They agree to meet at Laura's place, with one member staying alert in case of trouble. The scene shifts to a meeting where Prava welcomes them, referring to them as a wanderer and a heretic. The conversation with Prava continues, confirming Urar's death. Prava expresses that their conflict was born of circumstance and proposes peace. She explains that recent events, including Marius's death and Ivar's actions, have shaken the foundations of their faith. Prava seeks to focus on preserving the cathedral and proposes an alliance against a common enemy, the Lord of Hatred. She promises that in time, they will all be considered friends of the church once more. The group reflects on Prava's offer and the idea of being friends with the church. A character recalls advice from Aru about holding close the home they saved. It's noted that not everything Aru said was a lie, and that they've saved more than one home. The conversation turns to Misto's tactics, describing how he reveals deep, terrifying truths that make people question themselves and their choices. However, it's pointed out that these tactics didn't work on one of them, leading to freedom from the stone. The discussion continues about Aru's actions and motivations, with the understanding that Misto was ultimately responsible. There's an acknowledgement of the complex nature of their choices and the unintended consequences that followed. A promise is made that when they find Misto, one specific character will be the one to kill him. The narrative then shifts to a broader reflection on morality and perception, noting that everyone can be seen as a villain in someone else's story. The reflection deepens, exploring how the Lord of Hatred exploits righteous choices, turning them into sources of pain and regret. There's consideration of how history might judge their actions and those of Aru. Despite the pain caused, there's an understanding of Aru's motivations, love, and despair. It's suggested that Aru might have believed his actions were justified to protect Theenu and the spirit realm from Misto's influence. However, this protection came at the cost of leaving the rest of the world vulnerable to an age of hatred. The narrative takes a somber turn, lamenting the fate of Akarat, described as the beloved shepherd of the light. There's a sense of betrayal, with Akarat being let down by those he protected. The tone becomes ominous, with a metaphorical wolf rising, disguised as a man. This likely represents a new threat emerging, one that will walk among the innocent undetected. The passage ends with a foreboding statement that in this new era, there will be no salvation in the light.